Did you know that the humble computer mouse was invented by a man named Douglas Engelbart who worked in a secret government lab in the 1960s? The mouse was originally called the XY position indicator and was made out of wood. The first computer mouse, which was built by American engineer and inventor Douglas Engelbart in 1964, was actually made out of a wooden block of wood. It had one button and two metal wheels underneath, one for moving up and down and one for left and right. It was developed as part of a larger effort to improve the user experience of computers. There are a few theories as to why he didn't protect his invention with a patent. Some say that he was more interested in seeing his invention used to advance the field of computer science rather than making money off of it. The first computer with a mouse-based system was developed in the early 1970s at Xerox PARC, the Palo Alto Research Center. The price tag was steep and most people couldn't justify spending so much money on an accessory, especially since it wasn't even clear that the mouse was going to catch on. These mice used a small ball that rested on a flat surface and moved around as the user rolled the mouse across the surface. This handy feature was added to the Microsoft IntelliMouse, which was released in 1995. The scroll wheel allowed users to quickly scroll through web pages and documents, making browsing and reading much easier. Prior to the scroll wheel, users had to click and drag to move up and down a document or web page, which was not only slower but also less precise. The addition of the scroll wheel made the mouse an even more indispensable tool for computer users. A sensor would track the movement of the ball and translate it into cursor movement on the screen. While this design was effective, it had some drawbacks. Modern mice typically use optical sensors, which are much more accurate and reliable than ball-based sensors. But no matter what type of mouse you use, it's hard to imagine our lives without them. From office workers to gamers to students, we all rely on mice to help us navigate and interact with our computers. So next time you reach for your mouse, take a moment to appreciate this incredible invention and its impact on our lives. Whether you're using a high-tech gaming mouse or a simple optical mouse, know that you're part of a long tradition of innovation that began with Engelbart's wooden mouse. Plus, they do and require a flat surface to be used on and work well on soft surfaces like fabric. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more fun and informative tech videos. Thanks for watching and we'll see you in the next one. They're also smaller and more portable, making them easier to travel with. But perhaps the most exciting developments in mouse technology are the uses of AI, which allow for features like gesture control and customizable button assignments. These advanced features make modern mice not only more convenient and accurate, but also more versatile. They're no longer just a simple input device, but an intelligent tool that can adapt to the needs of the user. The ball could get dirt or dust stuck in it, which would affect the tracking accuracy. Plus, the mouse had to be moved on a flat surface and could be used on soft or uneven surfaces like carpet. Despite these limitations, the ball mouse remained popular for 20 years until the optical mouse took over in the early 2000s. However, as the technology became more refined and mass-produced, the price began to drop. By the 1990s, mice were becoming commonplace in offices and homes and cost a few dozen dollars. And today, you can pick up a high-quality mouse for less than $5. The system featured a mouse, a color display, and a user-friendly interface that allowed users to easily manipulate windows and icons on the screen. However, Xerox didn't see the potential of their invention and failed to commercialize it. In fact, they even went as far as to destroy most of the equipment related to the system, believing it to be obsolete. Luckily, some of the equipment survived and ended up in the hands of engineers at Apple, where it played a major role in the development of the Macintosh. Others say that he simply didn't think to patent it or that he couldn't afford the expensive legal fees. Whatever the reason, Engelbart's decision not to patent the mouse meant that he missed out on potentially millions of dollars in royalties over the years. The research was conducted at the Stanford Research Institute, or SRI, under the direction of Engelbart and funded by ARPA. The project was shrouded in secrecy, and the work was not made public until several years later. But the results were groundbreaking. The team developed a number of innovative technologies, including the computer mouse, which they demonstrated in a famous 1968 presentation dubbed the mother of all demos. The presentation showcased a number of cutting-edge technologies, including video conferencing, hypertext, and even a precursor to the internet. But it was the mouse that really captured the imagination of the audience and the media. And yes, it did have a tail, although not quite like a mouse tail. Instead, it was simply an extension of the body of the mouse that housed the mechanical components that allowed the mouse to move around the screen. While the mouse was invented in the 1960s, it didn't become popular until the 1980s when Apple launched the Macintosh, one of the first personal computers to feature a graphical user interface and a mouse as an input device. Prior to this, the vast majority of computer users had never even seen a mouse, let alone used one, but the Mac changed all that. The inclusion of a mouse made the Mac a hit with consumers and businesses alike, and the mouse quickly became a ubiquitous fixture in offices and homes around the world. The wooden mouse was used in a top-secret government project funded by the Advanced Research Projects Agency, or ARPA, now known as DARPA. The goal of the project was to develop new ways to make computers more user-friendly and efficient. And Engelbart's wooden mouse was one of the key inventions that emerged from this research. It had one button and two metal wheels underneath. No lasers or scroll wheel, just pure 1960s engineering genius. When it was first released, the mouse wasn't called a mouse, but rather the XY position indicator for a display system. This clunky name didn't catch on, so the mouse eventually became its own thing. As the name suggests, the XY position indicator was designed to indicate the position of the cursor on a computer screen. By moving the mouse, the cursor would move accordingly, allowing the user to more easily navigate and interact with the computer. This was a revolutionary concept at the time, as previous methods of interacting with computers were often complex and time-consuming. For example, many early computers required users to enter commands via text-based interfaces, which was not only difficult to remember, but also slow and inefficient. The mouse offered a more intuitive and natural way to interact with computers, and it quickly became a popular input device. But what else is there to know about this iconic device that changed the way we interact with computers forever? Stay tuned and you'll be a mouse expert in no time. The very first mouse was made out of wood. Yes, really. It was first called the XY position indicator. It debuted in a secret government project. As we mentioned earlier, the mouse was not created in a vacuum. He never patented it. Despite being the inventor of the computer mouse, Engelbart shockingly never patented his invention. Apple made it popular. Xerox used it before Apple, though the Mac popularized the mouse. It wasn't the first computer to use it. Early mice cost over $400. When the mouse first hit the market in the 1980s, it was a luxury item, not a cheap add-on. The ball mouse ruled for 20 years. For 2 decades, the dominant design of the computer mouse was the ball mouse. The scroll wheel was invented in 1995. One of the most important innovations in the history of the mouse was the addition of the scroll wheel. Modern mice use laser sensors and AI. Today's mice are a far cry from the clunky ball mice of the past. There are many different types of mice on the market today, including wired mice, wireless mice, and even vertical mice. So what did you think of this video? What other interesting facts about the computer mouse did we miss? Let us know in the comments below.